Hello, people. It's your boy Usmaan back again. Manchester United podcast. Yes, not West Ham United. Man United, we're back in the building. You love to see it. We're halfway to getting our club back. As you saw from the live stream yesterday, Woodward has resigned. There's only one group of people that now need to leave, but none the least, we're going to enjoy this night. We're going to enjoy the week that is Manchester United, the chaos that has been this week in the footballing world. As always, make sure you get your comments in, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let me introduce you to the panel. On the left, we got the homie. It's been a while. We're going to actually record a very special video. We are going to, of course, reschedule that. We're not going to spoil it too much, but you're going to enjoy it, trust me. So it's going to be Usmaan Talks with Joe, but we'll do that next week. None the least, he's been very kind to join us. How you doing, Joe?
I'm absolutely delighted, mate. Like I just said to you off air, hell of a lot happier than I was sort of 24 hours, 48 hours ago. I feel like I've got my football club back. Plenty of reasons to celebrate, and hopefully some more coming up in the coming weeks as well. Who knows?
Oh my God, can you imagine? Could you actually imagine the scenes? Oh my days, the absolute scenes is gonna be unreal. But listen, let's get on to our next guest before we obviously go on to why everyone's happy. The homie, AK Iniesta, AK Corner from 3 in midfield. He's back in the building, popping balls, playing music. You'll love to see it, Coach. I can see you got the smile on your face still. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling wonderful, brother. That guy, Woody Woodpecker. That guy is out, bro. He's gone. He's going. He's gone. I'm happy, man. I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Honest to God, I tweeted this morning, like, I had a very good sleep. Like, honestly, I knocked out. You know, that might not be stressing me, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's not the back of your mind. You're not even worried about it. But as Joe said as well, it feels like we got our club back, you know, for, well, half of it anyways. But listen, we got a homie in the building. You know, I was a bit disappointed didn't vote for me in the draft, but we'll put bygones back. Yo, my team on the draft was absolutely dead. If you haven't checked out the draft right now, and the rest of the lads, make sure you go to Eyes in the Ball, man. It's a good laugh. I enjoyed that. But we got the homie in the building, Darren. What are you saying, bro?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. And your team weren't that bad, bro. You had Zidane, you had Seydorf, you had a couple ballers in there.
Well, I had kind of our Nesta, obviously.
Yeah, see, the team weren't that bad. But
is this the one where I had passes, but I was told we were like balanced, but they keep the ball too much? Is that the one?
It's the one when Kojo had about 7 midfielders and no DM.
And 4, you know.
Oh, was it? Oh, 4. Yeah, that was definitely not going to work. But Darren, what are you saying, bro? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. Listen, just chuffed, man. As you said, last night's sleep was gracious. Glad, man. Ed Woodward out the club. Only upwards from here, man. Finally, we've taken steps forward in that department because we know we've had struggles as far as executives for a while. So I'm just excited, man, for what's coming.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. And last but not least, from United Team Talk, the homie's back in the building, fresh from the gym session. You love to see it. Get in the games. Jerry, what are you saying, brother?
Yes. Nice to be back on the channel, man.
Pleasure.
I'm relieved. Like yesterday, like before I went to sleep, I just went through everything this guy's done. Yeah, his tenure. Oof. And when you look at it in hindsight, we've suffered. We have suffered as fans, as supporters, and just his face, man. We don't have to associate his face with us anymore. Like, I'm so happy, man. He's out of the door, and obviously the big one that I'm waiting for I'll run down the street naked, fam. If that news breaks, bro.
Don't be saying that because it could happen.
Soon come, man. Soon come.
Yeah, that's the big news. But yeah, man, I'm relieved, and yeah, man, only upwards from here.
Yes, you love to see it. But listen, we're going to get into it. Obviously, we'll start with Self Joe regarding the Woodward situation first and foremost. Sadly, the negative news or the bad news, so to speak, is that he's staying until the end of the season. Supposedly, it means he's still in charge of this summer window. I don't know if that's factual or not. Obviously, I'll pass that to you. But, you know, what are your thoughts? What's your initial thoughts? I've not actually got the chance to speak to you regarding the matter. What's your thoughts regarding the situation? Do you think this kind of shows Woodward for who he is, basically? And the way I see it personally is like he's almost oh, well, I'm not going to get the money from the Super League now. I don't want to associate myself. It kind of just shows him as who he is. But he's always been there for the money, regardless of what these guys have said. The board have always come out and said, we've got the best interest of the club at heart. Woodward's always come across like that kind of guy. The PR spins are Woodward's doing a great job at Man United. Do you feel like it's kind of showing him in that negative light, or do you think, you know, there's more to it than just Woodward? Or do you think he's just kind of the sort of fall guy, so to speak?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, let's not just Ed Woodward this. I mean, obviously, it's the dreaded owners at the club, isn't it? As you know, they can't, you know, they're not absolved of any blame at all here. Obviously, Woodward's just almost like a puppet for them, isn't he? He's the man who has to sort of front up, and well, nobody fronts up, do they? But I suppose Woodward's the man who's front and centre of the club. We never see the Glazers do it. That's half the problem as well. That's what really frustrates this club. But look, I think anybody who's been front and centre of this plan and putting this league together, they should all be held accountable. And I would expect to see more resignations. I don't know how hierarchies work at some of the other top 6 clubs, but I think anybody who's put the name to this should be gone. You know, the CEOs at places like Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, I don't see how they should stay in their job. It's the sort of idea that they came up with would have killed this game from top to bottom. And, you know, people should not be allowed to get away with that. And, you know, you talk about there, the only downfall is that he's here till probably the end of the year. I'm trying to put a positive spin on that, Usmaan. I'm wondering if he's staying around to maybe help to try and facilitate a sale of the club to help the Glazers with that, obviously, and see.
Wow, that's a very positive spin.
I'm just trying to. That's the way I'm trying to keep my mind positive. You know, what I mean, I'm thinking. You know, there's obviously been a lot of rumours about them. Maybe they might be next, and obviously, I think we're all hopeful of that, aren't we? You know what I mean? But maybe in these months that he's here, that's probably the best thing he could do for Manchester United in the 16-year period he's had at the club.
Yeah, no, bloody hell. If he helps sell the club, obviously, you know, helps the Glazers sell the club, then I suppose to an extent he has done something. Coach, obviously, I did get your actual reaction live. But let's talk about some of the players, right? You know, Ollie's had a lot of stick in the past, you know. However, he signed 2 people in Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire that seem to be at the forefront of Ed Woodward's resignation. Ollie from deep. Man's just gone full Doctor Strange and seen the future and not signing Maguire. Man's have been bunching us, paying 80 million for Maguire, but he was like, there's only one possible outcome to get rid of the Glazers and Woodwards. We're going to have to make a huge sacrifice. But Tony will come good, and it looks like Maguire has paid back every single penny, Kojo. What are your thoughts on that absolute, you know, that foresight from Ollie? Unreal.
Firstly, I'd like to publicly apologise to Harry Maguire for everything I've said about him in the past.
I need to be fair.
He is, from now, forever, my captain. He will make all my United levels of all time. More importantly, anytime he wants anything like a Super Bowl, wants to take some good jollof fries, I will welcome him to my auntie's place or my place. He's more than welcome into my life. He's my captain, my number 5, my legend. He is Harry Maguire. Now,
Harry Maguire.
No, in all seriousness, this was huge because we always talk about, in general, players not really having the chest to talk about what they want with their clubs. And we always talk about players being cowards when things are not going their way and going to run to the board and just moaning about their current management and all that kind of stuff. These guys ran to the board with their chest and said, listen, this can't run. This can't run. We don't want to be part of this. We don't want any part of this. We want to be part of the Champions League. We want to be part of the Premier League. This is Man United. This is our history. You have to respect it. And they did exactly that. And they managed to, whether he was leaving before this all happened anyway or not, isn't the point. It forced a change, in my opinion. It forced United to come out early and say he's going to leave. And I feel like United did that because at this point, there is no coming. Well, there is coming back, but they have so many things that they have to heal with the fans.
I don't think they could come back. I honestly don't. I'm not just saying that because I don't want them to, but I genuinely don't think they can. I think they can come back, but it's not going to be a short-term fix. This is going to take a long time because what I do think is at some point they will mention the Super League again, and they're going to try and twist it and make it something else. So they're going to have to come with something different. But you know, what it is.
the end of the day, look, the guy's gone. And the perfect way for me to sum up his tenure is there was once a time in one summer we were linked with Toni Kroos, Cesc Fabregas, and Gareth Bale, and we signed Marouane Fellaini. So get the hell out.
What a dreadful summer.
Oh my
Awful,
god!
awful summer.
No, that was a world class summer window. That one, to be fair, Moyes really outdone himself there.
Sure.
Darren, what are your thoughts? Look, obviously, we've kind of come from different perspectives. As Joe kind of put that positive spin out, I kind of want to come from a positive perspective in terms of the players, right? We've been crying out for how many years now? We want players that want to be at the club, that understand what the club's about. Okay, you could say some of the players, Bruno potentially doesn't know what the club's about. We don't know, but some of the players might have just done it from a personal perspective, as a fan. But so how do you see sort of the players moving forward? So to speak, like, has your sort of thought process changed, or do you still feel the same?
Not changed, not necessarily changed. I give the players credit. Do you know what I mean, for stepping up, for having their say. Because on our show, I said it like at the time. Like, I think it's crazy that they made decisions without even consulting the players and the coaches and stuff like that.
Oh, sick. Sorry,
Who?
continue. Gareth Bale.
Sorry. But yeah, I think it's crazy that they tried to make a decision without consulting the players, the coaches, and stuff like that. So I give credit to Luke Shaw, to Harry Maguire. They were not conflicting, but there's some different reports as to who was lead the pack in terms of who had to say. But I'm not really fussy. Do you know what I mean? That's semantics for me. Give credit to Bruno, to Luke Shaw, to whoever had their say in terms of not having it. I think Ed Woodward finally being gone is huge, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, as a fan, I did not expect this day to come anytime soon. And it's literally here. And the players played a huge part. Do you know what I mean? So I got to give them their credit. And I'm excited, man, for what's to come. I think now that we've got him at the club, we got to get Glazers out as well. Do you know what I mean? The fish rots from the top down. And we know they are a huge issue. Ed Woodward was just a symptom of their virus. But I just hope that we can move forward now into greener pastures, man, because we were in the doldrums for a long time. Now, hopefully, it can be the beginning of a new chapter, man, because, listen, there's a lot going on at Manchester United. There's a lot to work with. If someone wants to come in and say, listen, we want to lead this team to trophies, bro, it can be done, man. It can be done.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. I think, as I said at the start, this is halfway to having a club by. I think a lot of us will probably agree with the issue with Woodward in particular is the fact that he didn't show any ambition. Now, people would say he spent money, X, Y, Z, but when it came down to the nitty gritty and a manager, the Jose situation, I want Alderweireld. No, you've got Smalling and Rojo. Like, who is he to say no to? Jose Mourinho's won all of these accolades. Okay, granted, we can say Jose's finished X, Y, and Z, but his footballing knowledge is still vastly superior than someone who's just a banker. And I just think a lot of the decisions that he was making, he didn't have the sort of credibility to make those decisions because he has absolutely no clue, apart from attending the games and having the exact same glum phase, whether we're winning 7-0, losing 6-1 to Spurs, drawing. The guy had the exact same emotion for every single situation. At halftime, he wasn't checking any of the other rival scores. He's probably checking the stock market and whether Man United's gone up and down, or if any new sponsors have emailed them. Like, this is the thing. Like, it's such a huge moment in the club's history, potentially, because, as Joe said, this could be the catalyst for the Glazers going now, because he might be helping them, get a sale, so to speak. Fingers crossed. But, like, Jerry, where do you sit on the whole situation? Do you feel like, is Woodward as big of a problem as we're making it out? So it's quite clear from what I'm saying is that I think this is massive for the club. Do you feel, do you hold that same sentiment, or do you think we're slightly overreacting because he doesn't really have the last say, so to speak?
Yeah, when you say that, I've been thinking, obviously we're all happy that he's gone, but when you think about the bigger picture, he's just a pawn in this whole thing. He obviously is the executive, but him going, I don't think you say halfway there, I don't think this is halfway. I think it's like 25%, I'll say. The owners, man, they're still they're still here. Like that, they're the main people we need to get out. And even the Super League thing, I don't even know what punishment the big 6 clubs are going to receive.
Yeah, there's some people put in the chat that we might be. Well, I'll just put on screen now. No transfer window potentially, points deduction, etc., etc. Like
that could screw us big. Yeah, him going. I want to know the next step because he can go, and then who do we get in? Is it going to be another Ed Woodward? Is it going to be another banker?
You've led us on nicely to the next question.
This is what I'm saying. So I'm a bit wary.
We might as well start with you then, obviously, because that was the next question I was going to ask. You know, to be honest, I don't even know his name. I just know one of his names is Arnold. So it's probably someone that we know. Obviously, he's a banker as well who works for them, the Glazers. Yeah, so like, what are your thoughts on who should come in? A lot of people saying Van der Sar should come in. I've heard someone say Gary Neville. I don't agree with that. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Who do you think needs to come in? You know, like we already said prior to the show, you know, Fletcher and John Murtaugh got that promotion, which technically was meant to take over Woodward's sort of job to an extent. Woodward was just going to sign it off, so to speak. Like, who do you think is the right person to take us forward in that sense?
I couldn't give you names, but I just want someone that's competent to do the job. Like, it doesn't have to be sentimental, like, a legend, and just get someone that knows football, first of all, has the best interests of the club at heart. It could be anyone, like Darren Fletcher. He does have the credentials. People say bring back David Gill. I'm not even a fan of going back to like previous. Is
that bringing the band back together? Though?
Yeah, nah. We tried it with Oli and his staff. Like, look how that's turning out. We don't want more of that. But yeah, just bring anyone that's competent that can do the job, and then we move from there. Because this whole thing, I'm still a bit wary, man. Like, I don't think we're over the line just yet. Like,
we're definitely not over the line. We're definitely not over the line. We're far from this. I do agree with that.
I know, but it feels like a momentous day. Is that a word?
Yeah, because no one expected it to happen. That's why.
Exactly.
It's one of those things that you just like Arsenal winning a trophy or like coming in top 4. You don't expect it to happen. Do you know what I mean?
But I expect them to just slap us with
it's like a madness. You're like, whoa.
I expect them to just appoint some next guy, and then all the excitement just sucked out of us. We're thinking, who the hell is this?
Right, okay, well, Joe, let's bring you on, with that, because I know you and Hader, I watched your guys' podcast when you went into detail regarding John Murtaugh, his role at the club. So obviously, you guys have probably, done a lot of in-depth sort of research, so to speak. So, from your perspective, first and foremost, do we need somebody else to come in? Because as I've already alluded to, John Murtaugh was meant to be that person that replaces Woodward. And secondly, if so, who would it be for you personally?
Can I just say, doing this podcast for you guys, I'm quickly learning that I'm not cool enough for this game. You know that I'm just listening to all you guys talking. I'm just not cool enough. But
don't be
that's cool, bro.
Don't do that, man.
No, man, I'm
leaving your trip, fam. What's this?
I'm loving what you guys got to say. Look, I'm not going to bore you with that show. You know what we did.
No. I watched the whole show, so you didn't bore me. I watched all 50 minutes. So like. You're the person who's coming with the knowledge in it. You and Kojo, me, Darren, and Jerry are here for the good vibes, and we bring. But then again,
man, I'll tell you, I'm absolutely loving the vibes, mate. So keep it going. No, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know what they look for here. I mean, obviously, we're talking about it's going to be the Glazers that make this appointment. So my worry is it another Ed Woodward? Is it another yes man? Yeah. Someone that they've been connected with? Within maybe other corporations that they've been involved with, other businesses, and what do they want from their CEO? Because I'll be honest with you, I've had criticism for this on YouTube and doing shows by saying that actually some of the things that Woodward has done at times has not all been bad. On the commercial side for Manchester United, he's been fantastic at times.
Yeah,
he generated money into this club when money's not being available. It's been a tough time for all football clubs all around Europe, all around the world. So you can't forget that. But this is what I mean. I would like the next CEO to be a football man. So I think one of you boys there mentioned Van der Sar. Was it you, Jerry? I mean, that would be, for me, that would be a really sort of great appointment. We're talking about a guy here who's had that role at a very famous club. I mean, it's a travesty that Ajax weren't even considered for this competition.
That's embarrassing.
I mean, is that a club that's won 4 or 5 European League?
Five,
I think
yeah.
four.
So I mean, exactly.
It's still a lot. It's still more than Arsenal.
Yeah, and people will look at the Dutch league and they'll have their opinions, and I get that. But at the end of the day, he is doing this job in a really big global club. Especially around Europe, I should say. So yeah, I like that from a football point of view. My worry is that these Glazers are going to be looking for a businessman, another businessman. A banker, someone who can deal with the commercial side of things. And then if his role is the same as Woodward's, and he's sort of ruling the roost over who comes into this club and the football side of things, we're just going to be back at square one. This is another reason why I feel that it's really important that the Glazers are next to go, because hopefully the next people that come in will be wanting to make football decisions rather than commercial decisions. I did see something today briefly, by the way, about Alex Ferguson. Some people are keen on Alex Ferguson. What? Having more of a key role at the club.
No.
But I don't expect that of that man. I think that man's given this club more than enough over the last.
Let him rest, man.
Exactly.
Rest, bro.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. But but this is what I want. What I'm trying to say, I suppose, in a nutshell, Usmaan, is that I want a football man in this position next time. I don't want a businessman. I don't want a man whose history and work experiences in a banking sort of financial commercial background.
They just go to Deloitte and so on and just get the best accountant from them, man. Like one of the big four and that. But listen, Cody, let's get your thoughts. Like in terms of what Joe said, I completely agree. I think probably all of the United fan base would agree with that statement. We need someone that's a football person. I think that's been the key to our downfall, really, in recent times. Like, if, for example, the recent summer, a normal human being would know we need a right winger. Jadon Sancho was available. We spent all summer going for him and we didn't sign him. We haven't replaced Michael Carrick. You could argue we haven't replaced Wayne Rooney. The list is so endless. Like, Rooney didn't go that long ago, 5 years ago, and we haven't replaced him either, really, with a proper striker. Cody, what are your thoughts on the situation in terms of who you'd bring in? Obviously, is there any names that spring to mind at all? And obviously, then we'll move on to sliding Glazers off, so that should be fun.
I haven't really got a name in mind. I mean, I know in terms of director of football and other positions, we've heard about like Luis Campos and other land, and obviously Van der Sar.
Has he not gone to Real Madrid?
I don't know if he's gone. If he's gone to Real Madrid, that's a bit annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Someone let me know. But I think he's gone to one of the bigger teams.
Possibly. And then you've got obviously Van der Sar, has been mentioned. For me, I think the most important thing right now is we need someone who's damn smart in the transfer window. Someone that knows how to sell off our players when it's time, not give them contracts out of the blue.
Oh my God.
Yeah. If you know what period of time I'm referring to, and people that know how to move smart in the transfer window, not just go and splash a big amount of money on a player that could be potentially much cheaper than So we've made a lot of losses over the time. We're talking about Di Maria. We bought him for how much? 70 million or so.
Lost him for 50.
Exactly. Sold him for 50 something. Stuff like that. Van Persie obviously was a success in terms of 25 million, but he went for pennies. You know what I'm saying? So, we just need to move smarter in the window. That's for me is the main thing. So whether it's someone who is better financially, but also encourages us to buy and bring in someone in that director spot to help us with the transfers, I'm calm with that because we need to be successful on both sides. Still, we can't forget the commercial side. It's still important. The more money that comes into United, the more money we can spend, and the more stronger that we are in the financial side. But also have someone that goes to transfer window and says, "Yeah, this guy's available for 8 million, but this guy's a better player and he's worth 20 million less. Let's go for him." So just move smarter and someone that will work with Ole, so that the players that he wants to come in will fit the mold that he's trying to build. I don't want to hear about looking at 82 right backs and then whittling it down to Aaron Wan-Bissaka again. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense ever again.
You had to use Wan-Bissaka, didn't you? I was trying to go show without mentioning.
No, it is. I'm not even mad at him. But how do you look at 82 right backs? 82. That's mad. That's crazy.
Made up number, man. There's no.
So as long as we have someone that can move smart in the transfer window, I think that's the most important thing. If we're gonna move any closer to challenging for things, we need to make the team better, and that starts in the transfer window. So that's my main concern more than anything.
Yeah, no, I think someone who can sell Phil Jones as well has got my vote.
He's gonna retire at
sell,
the club, you know. Just deeply, he's gonna retire at the club.
when you go to a job interview, they put you in those job like scenarios when you have to be like pretend you're like working like obviously I'm a teacher, so I know like you do go teach a class. Ours should be if you can sell Phil Jones, then you've got the job. anyone, if you've got a week to sell one of our Deadwoods. And if you can sell him, you got the job. So Pereira, Jones, any of them man out there. I don't even know if Rojo's been sold. I'm assuming he has.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone.
Okay,
He's gone.
I thought that would have been a loan as well. But then listen, let's bring you in. Obviously, it's quite clear what culture wants. Someone that actually knows what they're doing. Ed Woodward clearly didn't in terms of buying and selling players. You know, I can't remember one time that we've made any profit on a player that we sold. I think Lukaku, we basically just about broke even on it. You know, what are your thoughts on what everyone said? Or have you got a name that you could throw out there? Bar Van der Sar. I think that's the most obvious one, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, bro. I don't really have a name outside the box, to be honest. As soon as I heard that he got fired, I just said Edwin in. Obviously, I'm not, clued up in terms of director of football and stuff like that. But as Joe said, I think he fits the criteria. Like, obviously, I don't know candidates, but I know what we want in a director of football. You know what I mean? You want someone who's experienced. You want someone who knows the game. Who's someone who has a relationship with the club, ideally. And I think Van der Sar ticks all the boxes. He has a relationship with Oli. He has a track record of bringing through young players at Ajax, and they have so much success in terms of young players. Our young crop is very impressive right now, so I think he could do something good with that. We know he has a relationship with Oli, as I said, and yeah, man, it just makes sense. He's already at a top club. Obviously, it's a bait candidate, but to be honest, I don't. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? He has a relationship prior with the club. He's in that position at the moment. He's thriving. So yeah, man, I think it makes sense to go and get Edwin. Like his name's already been linked to us before. Now the job is literally available. Like go and get him. He's shown that he can do it before. Bring him to United and let him do a better job.
Yeah, no, I think he's the no-brainer. I think he ticks every box for me, like you said. He's a club legend first and foremost. But actually, that's not a box. Let me remove that before people kill me. That's not a box. Obviously, let's start with his actual credentials.
Well, he's got a relationship with the club, though. That's a bonus.
He's got a good relationship with the club, but first and foremost, he's got a brilliant relationship with one of the best academies in the world in Ajax. So they've always got a conveyor belt of talent, so he'll be able to exploit that first and foremost. You know, he's been in the game. He's shown what he's about. He's had huge success as well with Ajax as well and what he's done there. So I think he could quite easily emulate that. And as you said, we've got a lot of talent coming through, and he understands the fabric of the club. So let's move on to somebody who definitely does not understand the fabric of the club. He did put a statement out. It almost led me so perfectly. Jerry, we're actually going to come to you because I think you're the only person who's read it in full. Because I was surprised.
Me?
Yeah, you read it.
I haven't read it, fam.
No, I read it. So I read it.
Darren, you read it. All right, Darren will stay with you first then. Right, I'm going to be.
Let me read it right now while you talk.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to be very honest. I saw a statement. It didn't have his name on it. When I seen the tweet, I just thought it was something else. Click on it, and then I seen Joe Glazers' name. I thought, I'm giving this guy one sentence, and he didn't apologize. So I took it off. He didn't apologize the first sentence, which for me personally, it was just an utter nonsense. But, Darren, what are your thoughts regarding his statement? The first time in 15 years, you wouldn't know that he owns the club because he's never spoken or affiliated himself. The first time when money's involved, what a shock. Reading the statement, what are your thoughts? What have you taken away from it?
Okay, this rubbish.
Yeah, just malarkey, man. Just chatting a bunch of nonsense. Didn't say anything profound. As you said, didn't really apologize. He said that they still have plans to pursue like a Super League, basically. So I was very confused by the statement. I don't get the intent of the statement. I think that he was talking about trying to salvage the relationship with the fans and stuff like that. But to be honest, it's just naive to even think that the relationship is salvageable. Like even before this, there was no semblance of a relationship. So I don't know what he's coming from in terms of that angle. But it's just a bunch of nonsense that he was saying, literally trying to apologize. Didn't even really say that they regret pursuing it. Do you know what I mean? It was just a bunch of utter nonsense. It wasn't. The only reason why I read it was just to to literally hear what he had to say, because we barely ever hear from him.
I don't
But,
think we have. Like, someone
yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall a single time, like in my lifetime, that I've ever had him pour an actual statement out.
The funny thing is, you just hear so-and-so's first name Glazer, Avram Glazer, so-and-so Glazer. You're just thinking,
Avram, yeah,
how many of them even is there?
There's three, apparently. Is there 3, 4, 5, 6?
I mean, there's 3 main ones, and then
They like the mutate, don't they? They mutate. There's more of them every week. You know what I mean? A new name every week. You know what I mean? Like feed off each other. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Literally.
But they're a joke, man. They're a joke. Complete joke.
Absolutely. I think the funniest thing that I did take away from the statement was that his comment about building. He didn't say building relationship. He said something like salvaging relationship, like he's got one. Like, that was the most funny. Like, when someone read it, because obviously he would have sent it to someone else. That wording is so bad. Like, building a relationship or salvaging a relationship. Like, if you use the word building a relationship, I would probably give him the benefit of doubt. I wouldn't, but still, salvaging a relationship that's never been there. It's like you're holding on to something that you've completely disregarded. You've never treated the person correctly.
Literally.
And then when they're like, no, I've had enough, I'm leaving, you're like, oh shit, you're actually leaving. Like, it's just a little too late now, bro.
Ridiculous.
Like, AKA Jojo, for the younger people, you know what going on there. But the throwback and that way back. But listen, like, for me personally, it's actually laughable that this guy's come out and spoken for the first time in his life. Joe, what are your thoughts on his statement? Like, it's quite clear he's just doing it because he's, trying to salvage somewhat of a reputation with the fan base, so they don't just come out with the pitchforks and whatnot.
Where do you start with the statement? I mean, it's too late for a start. I mean, we waited till this morning. We were hearing last night, obviously, that they were pulling out of this thing. So we've had to, well, not even this morning, this afternoon is obviously when the statements come out. People talking about time zones in America, but I'm pretty sure I saw John Henry do a video. I'm not giving Liverpool any credit here, or their own any credit, but I'm pretty sure I saw a video from him this morning doing an apology on video.
On video, yeah.
Putting his feet. No, I don't want to hear it.
You better apologize.
I don't want to hear about time zones and we're having to wait until a certain time. He's probably wait until some sort of stock exchange opens so that his apology maybe gains a bit of traction. Look, exactly. They're so cynical with their announcements. Look at when they announce transfers. Sometimes it's all due to the the stock exchange and the amount of traction, the social media interaction it's going to get. So, look, it's all too late for me. Like you said, there was no apology straight away. They should have been the first words that were written down on that paper, to be fair. I have an issue with the insincerity of it all. It all sounds very insincere. They don't care about the things that they say that they care about within that statement, the fans, the club, the football, the success, the history. If they had any semblance of care for anything like that, they wouldn't have even come up with this idea in the first place. And I'll tell you, just to finish off, what I would have also liked to heard in this statement is how they're going to work with government and all the other sort of official bodies now to make sure that this kind of mistake doesn't happen again for the sake of their fans. We're hearing that governments are going to do reviews, and we're hearing that they're going to try and change the way in which football clubs are bought and the way that they're sort of run. I wanted to hear from one of these clubs now how they're going to sort of work with these people as well to sort of ensure that we become better run football clubs. Because at the end of the day, like Kojo said, if this is not changed and there isn't reform now and there isn't a change in the rules moving forward, this is going to rear its head again at some point. It's just going to come under a different name,
absolutely,
with a different spin. The only difference is next time is that we'll probably try and do it where they try and involve more people, players, staff, fans. But this will never get accepted. It doesn't matter how they try and work it.
And I think that's the key thing there, right? When they do it again the next time, they're going to be like, what did we mess up this time? We need to make sure when we release a statement, obviously not we call Super League, whatever they call it, there's nothing that we're going to get incredible backlash again. Or obviously still will get backlash because no one would agree with it, but they'll have like every sort of thing, loophole or whatever thing sort of sewn up. So we got nothing to come from. But like in terms of the whole situation, Kojo, like with the Glazers and whatnot, it apparently this whole sort of fiasco has sort of led them to potentially wanting to sell the club as well. Does that statement kind of fill you with confidence that you feel like there's truth to that story, that apparently 4 billion price tag or whatever you want to call it? Do you feel like this could potentially lead them down that path? As we've already said, all they care about is the stock market, and United stocks have been plummeting. You know, he's probably been checking the interactions with his statement as well to see if they're still up and down. But, you know, where do you set the whole thing? Do you think this could be the catalyst for finally to see the Glazers, you know, sell up?
No.
Right,
Because-
that's done. All right, thank you very much.
Keeping it positive.
Because I do want to be positive, but we still making money one way or another. That's the be one end all. We still making money, and what UEFA's going to do is to counteract this thing. We already heard about the reform of the Champions League. We already heard what's going to happen for 2024 and all that.
Well.
And you already heard. Oh, before the club started dropping out, you started hearing about they're going to put more money in. It's going to be 7 million here, 7 billion here, so 4.5 billion here. It's just going to rear its head. And what's going to happen is the clubs who wanted more money are going to get more money. And the clubs that will enter that are not so big are still going to get a bit of money, but it will be near as much as the bigger teams. And they're going to get exactly what they want. Nothing's changing. But it's funny because Arsenal and Tottenham are not Champions League teams anyway, so they're not going to get anything. But
yeah, love that.
But that's what's going to happen. So I think that's what he means by we'll look to have another solution. Look, the pandemic hit every club hard at the end of the day. The pandemic hit every club hard. More than even we'll talk about Real Madrid and Barcelona. Yeah, financially, even before the pandemic anyway, they were in trouble. So the pandemic just finished them. It's ruined them. That's why they're looking for Alaba on a free transfer and anyone else they can get for cheap. But they need to make money, and that's why you have Perez doing the whole WWE promos on Spanish TV, talking about, you know,
he's lost his mind, by the way.
Brother, the guy said it with his chest. The world stops to watch Real Madrid versus Barcelona. No one watches the Manchester derby. And I'm like, you're a liar. The world stops to watch Lionel Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo, but Ronaldo's gone, so your viewership has fallen, and that's facts. So don't lie to the people, man. That's what it is. Madrid.
Well, he also said that there's nothing. He basically kind of said like, there's nothing you can do. No, you see all those evil sort of villains in the film, and they're doing this with their hand. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well,
he came with that kind of energy, and literally lasted 2 days.
He's stroking his cat, mate. That's what he's doing.
Just spin around in the chair and with a nail there.
Yeah. So no, they are in financial trouble, and I think what Joe said earlier about Woodward and the commercial side and making money, I think that's proof that we were able to survive that. That's why we didn't need this, because we're still making money one way or another. The Glazers will make money, but what they want to happen, UEFA will grant it for them in another way, and we'll still have the Champions League. So I think it's a win for the bad guys and a win for the bad guys, because there's no good guys in that fight apart from the fans. They're both bad guys. So everyone gets what they want at the end of the day. They stay. I'm sure at some point you hear about them signing back up to the ECA. It's going to happen at some point because they're going to get their money up. They're going to get their money. No problems, financial. There's no problem transfers and the rest of it. So yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but obviously the only thing that I should recall from what you were saying was that you said no. You said no to that Glaze. Now, like you make very valid points. Obviously, all they care about is money. They're still going to be bringing that money. It's quite evident that United, have been able to survive more than some of the other powerhouses, as you mentioned, Real Madrid in particular. Jerry, I'm going to ask you regarding the fans and their role within potentially getting the Glazers out. It's quite evident that the players played a very vital role in getting Ed Woodward out. Shout out to them. But in terms of the fan base now, we know the power of social media. We've seen Gary Neville actually again today come out very bluntly on the Sky Sports interview saying we need to get the Glazers out. And I've never heard him, but I know he said it the other day, but
first time
he's followed it up now, which is actually probably more important than him initially saying it, because he initially wanted obviously the Super League to stop, and it's done that now. But he's still carrying on that message. Carragher's doing the same with Liverpool, and I think Ian Wright actually posted something about as well. Yeah, he did as well as racism. So shout out to Ian Wright, that to go. But the point I'm making is how important is the role now of the football fans, because you've seen with the Chelsea fan base, they're protest. Apparently, also got. I think Spurs had a protest today. They haven't got many fans, so it's difficult for them.
Yeah, that looks dead.
Arsenal do one tomorrow. They have got quite a bit of fans, so we'll be able to judge it a bit better. And then we've got one on Saturday. And on social media, we've got the hashtag Glazers out. I don't know if you've seen under the statement, every single comment. I scrolled for about a good 5 minutes. Every comment says Glazers out. Literally every comment. And I must have seen about 100 comments. And how important is it we continue the momentum as football fans? Because this is our chance. Because everyone knows who they are now. We've seen them as the people that we've always known them as.
Yeah, I don't want to be a downbeat, but as much as the attractions were all them, they're not. They're here to stay, guys. Like I know, like we all want them out, but I'm even with the protest, I'm thinking, what's the plan? What are we gonna go there and like? I think it works with like ticket prices and stuff like that, but to get them out, obviously, it's a start. Obviously, we need to make as much noise as we can because now we know.
Sorry to interrupt you. You know what I personally thought? I'm assuming we're playing at Ellen Road, aren't we? Must be in it. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Wait, yeah.
Yeah. So I personally thought that the protest should have been penalty to Spurs for those that care. I thought the protest should be outside Ellen Road because guaranteed the Leeds fans are going to be slagging us off because they've already done it to Liverpool, and I think the two clubs uniting together, like who hate each other, I think it would have been more powerful. Like us going on Saturday, I'm going to be going because I don't live that far from OT and it's like an hour away, so I will be attending. But even in the back of my head, I'm going and I'm thinking, what's going to happen basically? Because like it's just say that even if there's like 1,000 people, I don't think there will be, but let's just say there is. Is it going to have any power? Like it'll have coverage because I'm assuming that the TV productions whatnot will come, but is the power of that statement, do you think it'll be the same as much as it would be on a match day?
I think not to put, but and we've got Liverpool next week. I think that one, if both
we have to do it. Is
that's at Old Trafford?
Okay, so this is the protest for me. I'm assuming there'll be another one. Yeah. But there's one on Saturday for me is not a waste because I don't want to say that because obviously people make you attend. But the one against Liverpool on the day of the game, that one is an absolute necessity. I feel that is when we should be blocking off the coaches, obviously let them through eventually, but blocking them off. And then the Liverpool fans, that I don't think they'll come, but if they do come, that's an opportunity for both huge clubs to make a statement there. And I think that's what needs to be pushed for me personally.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking personally because I know Saturday, but we need to start it on Saturday. See, is it Saturday, Sunday?
Yes,
see how it goes. See how it goes, and then the week after, when we see the not success, but how it went, Sunday, full force, like everybody there making noise. You'll see the coverage will be mad. Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, imagine them two just join in as well.
Yeah, bro, they'll be interviewing man outside the stadium and that. Like it'll be.
But if Gary Neville interviews me, I'll be like, "Yo, fucking hell, Gary Neville, yo, get him out, Neville, get him out."
Yeah, man, the owners need to see. Listen, we're not having this. Like, you lot actually tried this thing, Like, did they not think that? When they were typing out the whole project and sitting around the table, did they really think this could work? Like, and now they come with these silly apologies saying, "Oh, we're so sorry, we didn't think," and we like, shut up, man! Like, you lot are just parasites, fam. Like, I actually hate the Glazers, fam. I can't lie. Like they.
It's alright, let it out. We're all in unison, yeah.
Bro, like, they don't even watch football. They don't even know when we're playing. Like. Oh, bro!
Imagine next week they're like, "Oh, what? Man United
Liverpool?
No way, man! No way, man! That's rad, man. We can work together and get the Super League back on, man. Get the Super League in behind us."
Usmaan, it was on Sky Sports earlier that somebody had told one of the reporters the other week. One of these owners had gone to a game to watch their club play, and they had to ask the guy next to them in the director box what colour they were wearing. They didn't know which was their team. I mean, This is how disconnect. And I wouldn't be surprised that with Joel. By the way, I mean, I don't know who it is. I know Abramovich didn't have a clue about football when he took over.
They watch red in England. They wear red in England. Oh my god!
You know what?
Yeah, it's just like,
oh my god!
Why the Balkans color, man?
They call
that's how disconnected these people are, isn't it? That's how disconnected they are from their clubs. You know, it's embarrassing.
They give the beautiful game. They call it soccer. Fam.
From
then,
that's the S word.
Oh soccer, bro.
The S word.
Can I also just add to in terms of what the fans could do, right? Because obviously I know our voice isn't massive, but I think we need to start boycotting, man. Like someone's put boycotting the Tampa Buccaneers. Obviously that's irrelevant. So
they know what they're saying. No, it ain't gonna happen.
No, I'm not. Forget the Tampa. I couldn't give a shit about them. Like, do you know what I mean? But to be honest, like, they don't care about us either. But I think the fans need to start boycotting, man. Like these that love the stats. Why is people need to start unfollowing the you know.
There's too many of us, you know.
I know. I get that. But even if they saw somewhat of a drop, and then there's protest after protest. Like if you look on every single comment that they've put in the last 24 hours, every single comment replied to anything they've put up, regardless of what it is, even the historic moments in the past, like. It's all Glazers out, Glazers, and this needs to continue. Like, I think with the Woodward thing, okay, granted, that was a different situation because he's gone because of the Super League, but there's momentum for how many years have we waited for Gary Neville on live TV to call these men out? God knows how many views this guy get. They must get like at least a couple of million easy coverage-wise. He's called their name out. They're aware of that now. They might not have been aware of us fans outside the stadium because it's not relevant because it's like, I don't know, like 200 people, but they know about Gary Neville because he's a club legend and they know about him making that statement on TV. So there's momentum there for the first time. So I think we have to build on that. I think, like, we just sit and say that the fans can't do anything. That's basically giving up. Like, okay, fair enough. I'm not saying that it's guaranteed to happen, but you got to at least try to make something happen. And at the end of the day, you know, like even if it's a small, minute thing, like it could snowball into something big. And shout out to Saeed, obviously, he's the one who's kind of arranged everything in it, like initially for the protest. But listen, we're gonna just finish on the last thing, which is a question that's been asked consistently, and I've kind of ignored it actually. But in thoughts of who would take over, I feel like this is like a nothing question because I don't think anyone knows anyone that's rich, like. Apart from like the Saudis,
Conor McGregor,
yeah, we got Notorious coming out. Here we go.
Come on.
Yeah, Conor McGregor would be interesting. Can you imagine? Oh my God, he'd be absolutely mental. Man would have his whiskey sponsor on the shirts for starters. No, you know, everyone would be getting pissed. But listen, in terms of that question, I don't know if anyone's got an answer, but I feel like the most general answer is the Saudis. Realistically.
Yeah, man.
Money Mayweather.
or Money Mayweather, one of the
there's been some rumors about the guy who owns the Ineos company, is it? I mean, he's been linked with it in the past. He's a British guy. I mean, I think he's worth about 17 billion. But I mean, you are looking at about 4 billion to buy this club because the club's worth about 3 in the debt. Sorry,
is 4 billion too much? Sorry, because I feel like it's too much.
Well, it is, but you know, I mean, we're going to be looking to get these guys out. One, you got to get them out, but two, they ain't going to go for a penny less than what they want this club for, are they? That's the other thing. If they do decide to put this club up for sale, they're going to set a price, and they're not going to go a penny lower. A little bit like Mike Ashley at Newcastle. This is the issue. I mean, Newcastle would have been sold about 10 times by now if Mike Ashley was willing to maybe expect 50 million less. But it's like these guys aren't going anywhere unless. And the other thing what will put people off as well is if you're going to buy this club, you've got to buy the debt as well. And, you know, the debt at the moment is pretty bad. So, I mean, obviously...
What is it? So that's 700 or something?
Yeah, you're getting onto another $500 million more onto the valuation. So
exactly.
That's money, obviously, as well. So, yeah.
Elon Musk, man. Let Elon Musk come in and copy it, man.
Make an offer they can't refuse.
George Bezos, I reckon. What about George Bezos? But then he'll want to put all the games on Amazon, won't he? So
he can put the games wherever he wants. I've already got Amazon Prime, so if you ever watch this,
yeah.
But
your mayonnaise point, get free delivery. Prove it. That's it.
And give us 1 million each. We just want 1 million each.
Hey, I'm free Prime.
Yeah, I'm
Ooh.
prime. Anything else, boys? Anything else? Anything about here? Anything
That's
else?
it.
No? Okay, that's it. Good. We don't ask for a lot. 1 million each and 3 prime. You get it here first. Listen, obviously, the sort of finishing thing that I want to add is that, look, first and foremost, look, happy days that Woodward has gone. However, it's important that we keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
Look, continue to spam. I know it might not seem like we're making a difference with the little guy. However, you know, it's little things that add up to such a bigger thing where it's way bigger than any of us. It's good to see a lot of the bigger platforms, you know, the United Stands, for example. I think Football Terrace might be doing it as well. Obviously, Saeed, Aaron, etc., etc. It's good to see all of them guys, you know, coming together like the Avengers to take down Thanos once and for all. We're going to leave it there with that, you know, sort of foresight from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signing, you know, Harry Maguire, Doctor Strange. You love to see it. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Before we go, as always, Joe, starting with you first and foremost, where can the people find you, brother?
Thank you so much for having me on, mate. I've absolutely loved this. What we're on 50 minutes. So, yeah, no, it's been great chatting with you guys, catching up with it, meeting some new guys. I don't think I've worked with Jerry and Darren before. I've worked with you, Kojo, but it's been great to catch up with you all and take care, all of you. Keep up the good work that you're doing on your channels.
You love to see it. Thank you, Joe. Obviously, like I said, myself and Joe got a special show coming. Hopefully, next we need to agree the day. It's my fault. It's my fault. Where's Woodward's fault? It is what it is. But obviously, we will sort the day. Probably next week. It's going to be an absolute banger. So stay tuned for that. Kojo, where can the people find you, brother?
Obviously, here, Usmaan Talks United, my personal free midfield with Cahill. Free midfield podcast on YouTube, free midfield, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Yeah.
Darren, where can the people find you, bro?
Eyes on the Ball TV, man. Check out the channel, subscribe. Hit the bell button, stuff. Hey, come on, man. We don't stop.
I got the eye on the
Listen, obviously, they've got the new studios, lots of big things coming, man. So make sure you stay tuned to their content as well, man. You love to see it.
Hey, that episode should be out tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yes, absolutely, man. Make sure you check it out, man. Show love to the homies, man. Jerry, last but not least, where can the people find you, bro?
Yes, Twitter handles on the screen. Obviously, United Team Talk on the YouTube. Check out the channel. Show I do with my bros, and obviously Usmaan Talks. Obviously, remember I sent you that message yesterday. I got recognized by a stranger on YouTube.
Yo, this is so funny.
Bro, I swear down, yeah, a stranger recognized me.
I've never been recognized, but Jerry has.
I said, he's like, wait, are you on YouTube? Are you on YouTube? I was obviously in end. You're like, what? I was trying to suss him out, and then he said, "Oh yeah, I've seen you on Usman's channel."
Oh my god!
I said, "What?"
Usman's gone clear.
Yo, it's so good. I said the first thing I said to Jerry is like, "You should have slagged up on Bissaka." It would have been good.
Listen, I was so taken aback. Like, he was so excited. He was like, "Listen, yeah, I'm a United fan. We'll talk about United, talking about this whole Super League." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I watch Usman every time." And I'm in the comments. I'm thinking, this is sick. So obviously,
I wonder who it is. He's in the comments. It must be regular. It must be like Jake.
What did he say? He said he was.
It's Big Run, isn't it?
Yeah,
Big run.
Usman, I just want to say I'm from Rotherham, mate, and you're absolutely massive round there, so don't worry about it, mate. You're absolutely huge round there, mate. I tell you.
God. I don't know if I want to be huge round Rotherham. John knows what I'm talking about. John knows we know the ends. Right, listen, we're going to wrap it there. Obviously, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. As I was saying, make sure you show love to the guys. Big Ron said not guilty. Ron, I know you're a millionaire, mate. So is that. Buy flipping OT and